And it's crazy because over the past 2,000 years, as the church kind of began at its grassroots endeavor and continued to grow and eventually affected the whole world with its message of Jesus and his resurrection. The church continued to thrive, even though for centuries people have been saying that the church is going to die, and they've made statements like God is dead, it's the age of scientific reasoning, and yet we see today more than ever the church continues to do incredible work, and across the world there's pockets of times that we get it wrong, and individual churches that make some mistakes and get misguided because the church is full of people. But the church itself universally continues to thrive. It's not that we don't have our problems, we do, and one of the things that we're going to talk about today is what do we do when we face those issues? See, here's what I want us to get, because a lot of people will look at the church, especially people who are outside of the church. They'll look at the church and they can be critical, but I think for most people, there's a small pocket who's going to expect the church to be perfect. But I think for most people that are outside the walls of the church, they look at the church and realize, man, it's normal people just like how they are, except for they follow Jesus. They're not always going to get it right. And so the issue isn't not having issues. I think everyone looks at the world and says, I know that we're going to have issues. The issue is not having issues. It's failing to confront them when we're made aware of them. And that's true in our life or in the life of the church. We all have stuff that we deal with. The issue isn't not having stuff. None of us is ever going to be perfect. So the issue isn't not trying to be perfect. The issue is when we're confronted with the issues of our day, the stuff that we're supposed to confront and deal with, that we're willing to do so. And we've seen this throughout the history of the church, that even though in pockets and seasons they might get it wrong, and there have been times throughout the history of the church, even in the recent history, that we've gotten in trouble as a church universally because we tried to take some scripture that was given to us and we try to misapply it. And so because of that, whenever we do that, whenever we interject either our opinion into the discussion, or we interject a false understanding of what Jesus or what Scripture is trying to say, we get ourselves in a really, really dangerous spot. And that's where we start fighting about things that the world looks at us and says, why are you fighting about this when these things don't matter? But when the church is led by God's Spirit, even though it's full of fallen human beings and we make mistakes, when the church says, man, we want to rise up, we want to do the right thing, the church collectively works together